Perfect. Okay. We're looking good. We're looking fantastic. Man, I'll tell you guys what, for those of you watching early, tap that screen, subscribe to the live. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you're watching a rerun, after the fact, leave a comment. I always wonder how many people watch the show after. You know what I mean? So we got some subjects to talk about. I'm going to wait till people kind of show up before we get into those topics. But I'll tell you this. We had a phenomenal show yesterday. I've had a show on my main channel, Patrick Gnarly, which is the main account. This is Patrick Gnarly and Company, which is where I talk about things and I share my opinion. I give you guys some insight, let you guys ask questions. Because we are too chaotic on the main show to answer questions. I just play music there. So that being said, I got to make some changes to the audio real quick. Yeah, we're going to bring that down a little bit. There we go. I think that'll do it. And then we'll bring, we'll bring all of this up. Where are we at? Go back to 88. Let's make it 89. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. And then we got the guitar. We're going to make the guitar a little louder, too. Just a little louder. Okay. We got CMM saying, how's it going, Pat? It's going fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. We had an incredible show last night. For those of you, like I said, who are watching from home. And after the fact, if you did not see the show last night on my main channel, you missed out, dude. We had an incredible show. We smashed a bunch of guitars. We played a whole bunch of music, as we usually do, but it was more special because, again, we've had some people on the show recently that just really woke it up. Got some fresh blood, got some fresh air into the show, and I'm very happy about it. Before, we used to have problems with certain people being on the show and making things a little more difficult. And it wasn't many people. It was only a couple people. But, I try to be nice. I try to be welcoming of people on the show. But sometimes things just kind of sort themselves out. You know what I mean? Sometimes things just sort themselves out. So I'm really happy about that. Oh, man. So, yeah, CM. Were you watching the show last night? Do you watch the show? The main channel? Do you watch the main channel? If you don't, that's okay. But I was going to say, we get a lot of people who watch the main channel, and it's absolutely incredible experience. Big fan of it. CM says, I do. I don't ever see you in the chat. Do you not like to chat on that one just because it's chaotic? What do you like to do? It is a little chaotic. It's hard to see who's out there and, because you don't see like a list of the people that join. It just says who says something. On TikTok, if somebody joins, it'll show their name. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's very odd. So we got a couple things we got to do on the show. I have to set up the multi-streaming by tomorrow. I think that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to go back to Twitch. Twitch will be on there, and then we're also going to have TikTok again, which I'm not honestly looking forward to. But it's one of those things you just got to have to do it to keep things rolling, keep things moving. You got to keep a little business ideas. So CM says, I like to chill, but I'm also banned. I think I got misinterpreted what I said or something. Well, I'll tell you something. A lot of people get banned because they are either rude, they spam the chat when they're not supposed to, or they say something that's just completely ridiculous against the show. Do you have an idea of why you got banned? Just take a guess. Let me know. Let me know if you think you know why. I think that might reveal it. Because those are the three big things. So if somebody says something kind of rude or obnoxious, we'll just get rid of those people immediately. We don't give any warnings anymore. Because it's one of those things where it's kind of assumed. Like you don't walk into somebody's house. You don't go into somebody's restaurant and just start yelling certain things. You know what I mean? So we don't go, hey, don't do that. We just kick you right out because you should know better. There's also people that tend to spam when it's not during a vote or something like that, and that can also be kind of annoying. So if somebody just keeps saying the same thing over and over and over again, it's just like, why would we want that in the chat? That's not cool. We don't appreciate that. So we get rid of those people. So if you got banned, man, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not because we misinterpreted something. You probably said something that was rude or inappropriate, or you spammed something. So I don't know what you did. I'm probably not the person who banned you, but you're very brave for admitting that on the show. That's like going to a new job, right? That's like going to a new job and being like, yeah, I got fired at my last job. The management must have misinterpreted something, and because now the new manager is going to be like, well, why did you get fired? Like, we need to know that. That's kind of something you should have brought up. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. So, like I said, I don't know. I probably wasn't the person who banned you. Otherwise, I would have remembered it without mentioning right now. But yeah, if somebody else did something, you must have done something bad, man. Very, very few times do we make a mistake like that. And if it does happen, it's one of those things where we kind of catch it pretty quick. We catch it pretty quick, so I don't know. Also, if anybody else is watching there, let me know. Ask me a question. Let me know guitar, music, streaming. That's what we're kind of talking about right now. But, yeah, that's the thing about streaming is you kind of do have to be kind of strict with that because if you look at other people's chats, we're not the strictest I've seen. We're not the strictest for sure. I've seen people who don't let new people talk at all. You have to, subscribe, which is kind of a trap. I've seen that. When I say it's kind of a trap, it's like, do you actually want to talk to these people? It's to try and get you to subscribe. So, yeah, it's one of those things where you want people to subscribe to your thing, but it's kind of backwards, though. You want to subscribe because you like it, not because you have to. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. CM says, I think maybe I was talking to somebody about a song, and I was probably going on about it. Well, you're allowed to have conversations in the chat, so I'll tell you one thing. I've seen people kind of disparage and say, negative things about certain songs. Like, for example, we used to have this as a problem, but it doesn't happen as much anymore. Somebody would come in and they'd just be like, Alice in Chains is better than Nirvana. And it's like, why do you got to do that? A lot of Alice in Chains fans are strangely jealous of Nirvana fans, and I don't understand why. I really don't, because if you think about every other band in existence, right? You think about Deftones, you think about Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, all these other bands. Very, very few times does somebody go, man, I'm really glad I like Black Sabbath and not Led Zeppelin. They hang out. They're friends. They hang out together. So we used to have an issue with, for some reason, Alice in Chains fans being weirdly competitive with Nirvana fans, which I like both bands. I obviously like Nirvana more, if you've ever watched my show. But it's bizarre that Alice in Chains fans get this weird sense of entitlement and jealousy. They're like, we're the best grunge band. It's like, I don't understand. Stone Temple Pilots fans don't do it. Pearl Jam fans don't do it. For some reason, it's mostly Alice in Chains fans. And this is just based on my experience. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened, but that does happen a lot. So, yeah, there's a lot of people that used to do that. They used to complain. And we, like I said, we just have a zero tolerance. We're just like, get them out of here. You're ruining the show. Nobody wants to have an argument while watching a concert. Can you imagine going to a restaurant, right, ordering something, and someone peeking over your shoulder and being like, oh, you put gravy on your mashed potatoes? Come on, man. It's like, let me eat my food. Are you at my table? No, I didn't think so. You know what I mean? Same thing with people that kind of comment on the Alice in Chains, Nirvana. There's no competition. They're completely different bands. They're in the same group, but they don't sound anything alike, really. I always call Alice in Chains the Voodoo Cowboys because it has a weird kind of, I don't know, it has this dusty trails, kind of spooky vibe to it. Every one of their songs is kind of creepy, but it's cool. It's heavy. But then you go to Nirvana and it kind of goes into this poppy, but sickened, it's a sickened version of it. I don't know. It's cool though, but they don't really fit that much. It's very strange when they get compared. Cyrus says, dude, I hate it when people compare oh, that's what we're talking about. Well, we're talking about how we were talking about the most common issues that we have on the show and how people get kicked out and how people get banned. Apparently CMM was banned on the other show. We were trying to figure out why. So, but I guess we'll not know. There is a way to figure it out, though, which is funny. It would be nice if we could have notes of why somebody was banned. That would be a cool effect. So, Does anyone recognize CMM? Does anybody know why CMM was banned on the main show? 'Cause I don't remember doing it. Somebody might remember it. But I'll tell you this. There's a couple reasons why people do it. Blake says I do. Oh! Spill the beans. We're going to find out why. We're going to see what's going on. We got a gun to CMM's head, and tell us the truth. Why were you banned? So isn't that a thing with other streamers? They do like a banned redemption thing where they like allow people to come back to the stream. Isn't that a thing? Oh, that's fucking lame, dude. Why would you say that? Did you really say that? That's so lame, dude. Really? Boo! That's lame, dude. Shout out to our boy. Shout out to our boy Blake for spilling the beans. Yeah, don't do that, dude. Why would you say that? That's weird, man. What are you, like 11 years old? CM says I forgot about that. Okay. Yeah, I told everybody I was pooping, and then I got banned, and I don't know why. Shout out to Blake. We're not going to ban you here, but I'm going to tell you right now. Don't ever do that again, man. That is such a cringy thing to do. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine going to like a rock concert and then like people hanging out and like one person next to you is just like, "Hey everybody, I'm myself." Everyone's just gonna be like, "Hey, can you shut up? We're trying to watch. I have to be near you, but I really don't. Can you shut up?" Yeah, don't do that, man. Let me explain something. I went to a concert not that long ago, and there was a guy with a big old mustache. Pretty big dude. He was probably like 6'3", pretty tall guy. Huge, built like a wrestler, dude. Built just like absolute Greek, just chiseled kind of guy. And he was clearly drunk, very drunk. And he just kept pushing into people. And I get it. Some shows, there's like a kind of a rustle and tussle kind of thing going on. You know, you go to a punk band and people kind of push each other. But it's like, it's assumed. Everybody's in the same mode. Everybody's kind of reciprocating that kind of movement. Makes sense, right? Just like how if you go to like a concert where it's like really quiet and it's like really, really emotional, everybody just kind of stays quiet. You know what I mean? We're all trying to watch the show. We're trying to listen. So there's like an assumed behavior. It makes sense. Everybody reads the room. Everybody, no matter how big the room is, but people read the room. So anyways, this guy just starts pushing people, and everyone's like, "Yo, dude, there's like a little kid there. Nobody else is moving. You need to stop." But he just kept doing it, and just like this big pit opened up around this guy where everyone's just like, "What is this guy doing? This is so weird." And he just kept pushing people around. Super odd. So yeah, you gotta learn to read the room. You gotta have that kind of understanding of, is this something that's going to be welcome here? Do you think this is going to make sense? Because again, you could be at a show where it's like super quiet, right? Super quiet. Everyone's being chill. And then somebody starts whistling really loud and goes, "Yeah!" It's like, dude, shut up. Shut your mouth. There's a great example of this like behavior. So let me pull this up. I can't remember the name of the band, but everybody just like goes, "Shut the hell up!" at this lady. Super funny. Where is it? Here, I'll pull it up. Oh, I guess it's a Taylor Swift concert. So hold on, let me pull this link. We'll pull it up. Go to Edge, Microsoft. Here we go. We'll pull this up. I hate this browser, but I use it because none of my information's on it. Where is it? Here we go. All right, so we got Microsoft Edge. Where's the window? Get out of here. Shut up. There we go. All right, so we got the window, Microsoft Edge. Here we go. So if we go to this video, it should be able to play the moment. I should be able to play this without a problem, but oh, hold on, I muted it. Sorry, I gotta unmute it. Actually, is it muted? Oh, it's right here. Okay, sorry. Hold on. We're gonna watch this together. This is the attitude of somebody who has never been to a concert, basically, and doesn't understand etiquette. So hold on. Here we go. Let's do this. Watch. We're gonna watch this.
Check out Taylor Swift reacting.
Oh my God! Shut up, dude. Why are you talking? Who reacts to other people's content? All right, here we go.
Also, like, I can't. What's that thing you guys have been saying online? You're always just like, mother is mothering.
Oh, no, that's not it. Okay, this is just someone talking about it. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe this is it. Maybe it's Mitski. Is it Mitski? Sounds like about it. Sounds about right. Nope, I don't see it. All right, well, that's it. All right, I'm going to give up on this bit. Anyways, I'll reenact it for you. So basically what happened is it's dead quiet, right? Everybody's super silent, and I think Mitski's about to like get to the good part of the song, and some drunk, annoying person just goes, "Mother is mothering!" like really loud, and everybody just goes, "Shut up! Shut up!" Everybody's like, "Shut up! Shut up!" It was really cool. It was really cool. So basically, that's the attitude you get when you don't read the room, when you don't have everybody in sync. I want to find this video, but I know I'm not going to be able to. Commentators curse. So, but yeah, so that's essentially what happens when you're streaming. You kind of have to look out for people that are essentially trying to ruin the mood. I think what was it, Blake, you had we had a moment a couple days ago that made me go, all right, this has got to stop. There was somebody during one of the songs I was playing, again, super chill song. We're all like hanging out. We're all kind of, you could tell the mood in the chat is like focused and like emotional because not many people are talking. People are just kind of going with the lighter emojis and things like that. And then somebody says something about poop. They said something about it, and again, this is funny because CM got banned for this. But but somebody else did it recently. And for some reason, the mods did not see that as like weirdly distracting. And so I went, after the song, I was like, psh, we got to shut this down. No more of this ever. So we had like a whole discussion about it. We all talked about it. Like, hey, if anybody says anything kind of weird or off color, dude, just whoosh, get them out. So it's really, really weird how that works. Let me see here. Cyrus says, how it feels when someone comes on the stream saying crazy shit unannounced? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that happens. Somebody recently, this is another weird thing. For those of you watching, you guys can ask me anything about guitar, music, streaming. People are going to read the title, but they're going to ask me pretty much whatever. But what's funny is that we had somebody recently. Did you guys see this? This was really weird. I noticed some of the mods didn't catch it, so we'll talk about it. But somebody said something about like their brother or somebody having cancer, and like it was bad, and they wanted me to play a song for them. Just so you guys know, 99% of the people that say that are trolling. They just want me to do something for them. Because let me explain it this way. If somebody really did have an issue like that, I don't know why they would be doing it about their sibling. You know what I mean? If they wanted me to do something, they would be less likely to say it before. They would do it after. So just so you guys know, those are people trying to take advantage of other people. And I'm not saying it's every time, but it is most of the time, a grand majority of the time, when somebody says, hey, man, I need you to do something for me. Also, this person is dying or has died or has cancers, has some sort of disease. Most of the time, that's somebody lying. And I'll explain why. Most of the time, when somebody says, "Hey, man, can you do this for me?" If they see that they have to send a donation or they have to pay for something, usually, if they're being honest, what they'll do is they will send a donation. Right? They'll ask for a song, and then they'll talk about it either after the donation or they'll talk about it after the song gets played. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to, most people understand, like, one, it's a show, it's music, it's something like that. You're not trying to make it about you necessarily, but sometimes you want to talk to the person and be like, hey, man, I really appreciate your work. I used to watch your show all the time. Me and my brother used to watch it. It's a good memory of ours. Can you play this song? And then, after I play the song, usually they'll go, my brother passed away a couple months ago, and I came across your stream, and I just wanted to, relive some moments. That's when you kind of go, okay, I understand. That makes all sense. That makes a whole lot more sense. Because if you think about it, if you change the situation just a little bit, most of the time, like let's say we're at let's say we're at a Best Buy, right? We're at some sort of retailer, and somebody comes in and goes, hey, man, I really want to get these headphones. By the way, my dad has lung cancer. Can I just have these? Notice how that doesn't add up. What does the lung cancer have to do with the headphones? They're also saying they don't want to pay for it. That's when it gets weird. That's when it gets odd. So you have to understand, like, it could be true. It could absolutely be true. A lot of people sometimes will share, like, a weird situation that they're in, and they expect something out of it. But if I don't know who they are and they're just trying to get something, imagine if we said, yeah, sure, we'll do it for you. How many people are going to start doing that? Then it becomes like, what are we supposed to do? You know what I mean? That's why typically when you see people ask for something, like a donation or something like that, not a donation, but they ask for a request, if they have a request, most of the time they'll put it in the request. They'll have some sort of story to it, or they'll do it after. Does that make sense? Because, like, I know a lot of you guys are younger and you don't understand how people can be manipulative. They can often take advantage of people. They can see if somebody's being naive. That's not right. That happens all the time. Go ahead, ask it, man. But yeah, you gotta keep one step ahead. It's like, why are they saying this? What is the purpose of saying this? Are they trying to garner sympathy? Do they want to try to avoid paying for something? Do they want something without having the effort? Because again, lots of bad stuff happens out there, man. Everybody has a bad day once in a while, or has a bad situation. Most of the people that watch my show and like listen to my music and stuff, they'll usually say, for example, somebody recently, I think it was Kayla, sent me a message saying, hey, man, had a bad day today. Could you play Karma Police? Here's the donation. Notice that has nothing to do with them getting something for free. They're just saying, hey, man, can you play this for me? Also, here's the donation. But I want you to be like, can you acknowledge this for me? And it's like, dude, totally. Absolutely. I'll totally acknowledge that. But there are people out there that can be kind of abusive about that stuff. It's very strange. Blake says, my daisy chain broke. Oh, for your guitar pedals? Interesting. That's bizarre. How did it break? Han says, I just wanted to know how to know if I getting a good guitar. Let's try and read this. Hold on. I just wanted to know how to know if I getting a good guitar if I buying online, and does the price show quality? I think I know how to decipher that, but we'll try and work through that. You want to know if you're getting something that's worth the money as far as guitar goes. Are you new? Have you never played guitar before? Most people, when they purchase a guitar for the first time, no, that's not your keyboard's fault. Don't blame your keyboard. No, that's not a keyboard, man. I've seen people have like a missing key. Understand that. That's you, buddy. Don't you blame Logitech. Don't you blame your cell phone for that. That's you, buddy. All right. Anyways, but I'm just poking fun at you. Let me answer a question for you though. So how do you know if you're getting your money's worth? Is that what you're saying? Well, to be honest, you don't. If you're new to guitar, if you're new to playing music, if you're new to buying equipment, things like that, you don't know what you like. You don't know if it's worth the money yet. So that's why when you're first starting out, most people don't want to spend too much money, because even if it's very, what's the word? Even if you're buying something and you get good equipment, right, and it's worth the money, etc., you don't know if you're going to stick with it. You do not know if you're gonna stick with it. Some people play it for a week, and they go, I don't want to spend time on this anymore. Some people do it for a month. Some people do it for 3 months. The bottom line, though, is that when you're buying equipment, you gotta have to just buy something that you like. I was talking about these yesterday. When you buy a guitar, you have to buy something that excites you, that makes you think, this is something I want to keep doing. Because I could recommend up and down the street every guitar that I've ever liked. We don't have the same hands. We don't have the same ears, right? You want to buy something that speaks to you. You know what I mean? Because if you want to buy a metal guitar, and I recommend you get an acoustic, you might not like it. You know what I mean? You might not love it. You might not stick with it then. So you want to try and find a piece of equipment. The most important thing for you to do is look at something that you like. See if there's something you like about it. Carlos says, buy a Fiat before a Ferrari. You can. But I'll tell you this. Let me explain it this way. If you got Ferrari money, and you want to buy something and you can't get your mind off the Ferrari, listen, you could buy whatever you want. But if you think you'll like the Ferrari more, go ahead, get it. And I'll give you a bonus for that. This is more of a bonus for other people. Because if you want to sell that thing, it'll hold on to its value a lot more, but you'll be losing more money, essentially. But then again, that gives the used market a nice little thing. So bottom line is, if you're buying a new guitar and you've never started playing and you don't know about pricing or anything like that, I would just consider your budget. How much money do you have? Like, what do you want to spend? And just find something. Find something you like, man. Don't worry about anything else. Because odds are, even if your first guitar is not that great, if you love it, you'll stick with it. But if your budget's not great, it doesn't matter if you have like a taste for Ferraris or not. Sometimes you got to buy that, Geo Metro or something like that. Sometimes you got to buy the busted up Volkswagen Jetta. But you want to buy something that you like. You really want to try out something that excites you. Because if you look at a guitar, like, let me see here. Like if you see an SG, right? You see an SG and you go, oh, that looks so cool, AC/DC. Then get it, dude. You're excited to play it. We don't know until you try. We're not going to know until you try if you actually really, really want it. So that's the long answer. The short answer is you're not going to know. There's no way for you to know. So you got to try it out. Obviously, there are guitars that are better quality than others. But even if you buy the better quality guitar, if you don't like it that much, it's not going to work. So, yeah, tap that screen if it helps out, man. Tap that screen if you guys got some advice there. Because this is something I talk about all the time with music, is that it's not as much about hard numbers. There's a big aspect of music and art, which is, how does this make you feel? It's very psychosomatic. If you have that placebo effect, if you believe that it's better, you'll stick with stuff a lot longer than you think. It's very weird, man. Like, if you get a race car, this is the difference. If you get a race car that is objectively faster, then obviously you're going to want the race car that's faster. Numbers, stats. There aren't really a lot of stats with guitars that are actually beneficial to writing a song. Does that make sense? Just because, objectively speaking, this guitar's neck is more slippery than this guitar's neck, like this one's stickier, that does not mean I will write a better song necessarily. So that's how that works. So Lewis says, how do you make the beats and melody if you only play guitar? You don't think you can play a beat on a guitar? You don't think you can do a melody on a guitar? What are you talking about? What you mean, dog? Are you saying, how do you write? How do you record it? What do you mean by that? That doesn't make sense. What do you mean? I think we're confusing some terminology here. What do you mean, Lewis? You mean, how do you make a drum and a bass? Well, I mean, you have to get software. Here, I'll show you something. A lot of times you got to get software. You got to get an instrument. You got to record it. Let me show you something here. I'll turn off when Microsoft Edge. We'll go to Ableton. So this is my Ableton. This is what I use to record the audio for the show. So you can see my voice in the top right-hand corner right up here. Oh, it's up there. So if I wanted to get some drums, for example, we could get some drums. So I'll go to the very bottom here. We got some drums right here. You can't see it, but it says Superior, which is the Superior Drummer kind of thing. So if I wanted to go in there, I could record something really quick. Oh, but there is something there, actually. You can see it at the very left. So I'll press play on that real quick, and we'll just listen to it. Okay? Oh, that's right. I can't play it through the audio right here. Hold on. Do we have samples? I think I have a sample. Let's see here. Let's see here. Sorry, that scared me. We got drums. Hold on. What is this? Okay, there we go. So you could do is you can drag and drop this into something, right? We'll listen to this. So that's how you do it. You would get like a file of some sort of recording, or you'd make a recording. You get your drums and just throw it in there, and then you record with it. Yeah, you just record with it, man. So you got to get what's called a DAW, or Digital Audio Workstation. This is a DAW. This is Ableton. This is like the Google Chrome This is the program that you actually load stuff into. You could use free ones like Reaper. Reaper's a free one. I've never used it. Tried to, but couldn't figure it out. There's also Audacity. Audacity's a free one. You can get that. You can get Apple's, Logic. Logic. There's FL Studio, Fruity Loops. You can get Ableton. I like Ableton. A lot of people that I know used Ableton, and I decided to use that. So that's how you do it. You would record or get a drum machine, essentially, program some drums for yourself, and then call it a day. That's it. And then the bass, same thing. You can get a synthesizer, call it a day. That's how it works. So, yeah, I know that's a lot of information, but if you want to write this down in bullets, here, I'll write it down for you. Hold on. We'll go to Notepad. And then I'll answer that other question here. Let's see here. Window capture. Where's Notepad? Why is Notepad not showing up? What is this, stupid? There's calculator. Can I delete this? We'll go to window capture again. There's Notepad. There we go. So I'll write this down for you once again. So you're going to go at the very top here. So you're going to go to a DAW. Oh, that is super small. What is going on here? You're going to get yourself a DAW. I'll say Audacity because you're probably not going to pay for it. Those are free. Audacity is free. You get a DAW. You see about getting a drum machine. I think that's called a VST. Those are usually, you can get those for free too. And then you just make a beat, homie. That's it. Get a DAW, like Audacity. Get a drum machine, some sort of VST. I'm not sure what drum machines are out there. I use Superior, which I had to buy. It's expensive, but I like it. And then you make yourself a beat. That's how you do it, buddy. All right, we had another question. We had Braden who said, Pat, you should recommend Amplitude better than any DAW 1000%. I use Amplitude. I use Amplitude in Ableton. That's how I get my guitar sounds and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll pull it up. I can't show it to you because it doesn't work like that, but yeah, this. That's Amplitude. You get some really good sounds out of that. Like, for example, you get this really cool delay. Let's get a little bit of a faster delay. What are you talking about? You saw a shadow. I don't know what that means. Anyways, so that's what's the, you can get a lot of different sounds. Like you can get a Univox or Univibe. You can get a Univibe thing. Let me pull that up. Where is it? There's a Jimi Hendrix thing. Someone walked by. Oh, okay. Let me see here. I like how nobody else is saying that, Lewis. Lewis, you want to get banned, dude? You want to get banned for being a troll? This is Jimi Hendrix in a box. And then you want to get a fuzz. If you want to get the Jimi Hendrix thing, you get that. You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of possibilities with getting some digital effects and stuff like that. It's fantastic. They sound great too. I love how they sound. Really big fan. But yeah, that's how you do it, buddy. That's how you do it. You just get a DAW, figure it out. Braden says, I've been meaning to ask this for a while, but how do you sing and play at the same time? Oh, dude, that's just a skill. It's like learning to shift your own gears in your car. It's like learning to tie your own shoes. It's just, you're not going to know how to do it right off the bat. Nobody does. You have to teach yourself how to. You're going to have to sit down. Every time you play a note, you have to understand that there are notes and then there are the absence of notes called rests. And so the idea is that you have to have in your brain a constant kind of beat, and you have to understand either you're going to sing on the beat, you're going to sing off the beat. You're going to play guitar on the beat or off the beat. Sometimes they line up. Most of the time they line up. But sometimes they don't. But you kind of have that constant kind of thing going on. It's like playing guitar. Your left hand's doing something at the same time as your right hand. So you get that. You know what I mean? You got to line it up. You just got to figure it out. Sit down, play a song slow, learn the lyrics, learn the vocal parts. And then after that, learn the guitar part, and then try to marry them together. That's how you got to do it, man. Just like how you learn to play guitar. It's just another skill. There are people that can play piano with their left hand, their right hand. They'll sing, and they can dance. If they can do that, you can too, man. Everybody has the ability to do that. So I don't know how to teach you to do that, but you can. Zoe says, hey, Pat, kind of random, but I figured out why bar chords were so hard on my working acoustic guitar. The strings are too high and the nut, so I'm going to get it fixed. Perfect. Very glad to hear that you got some advice that's working out for you. Yep, getting your guitar set up is the best thing you can do. It's going to make it perfect. Here's the problem, though. On your guitar, it might be, as much as the guitar costs. So make sure you really want to get that guitar set up. Did you get a quote for how much it'll cost? It's the acoustic, right? Acoustics are a little different for setting up because it's more permanent. Whereas like an electric, you take some screws, you get some Allen wrenches, and it's a lot easier. So we'll see how it works. What's with all the Catholics and Christian people coming in on this live? It's very strange. Did you guys notice that? Is that like a meme? What's going on with that? Why does that keep happening? Are those bots? I think those are bots. Why do they keep doing that? I don't understand. What's funny too is like, let's, for the sake of argument, it's like, what if I was a Christian or Catholic already? You're just you're preaching to the choir. You know what I mean? So it's very bizarre how that works. It's not a message for me, man. I doubt it. I think it's a bot. I think it's a bot trying to get in here and be obnoxious. Because obviously it says, ask me anything by guitar. And they go, you know what? This is the perfect time to say something about this. It's very strange. But that being said, I wanted to talk about this earlier. We were talking about how good the show, the second channel, has been. Very, very exciting. If you guys hadn't watched, who watched the show last night? Did you guys watch the show last night? If you did not watch the show last night, dude, go check it out. Go check it out. It's an amazing show. We did 2 guitars. We smashed 2 guitars on the show, dude. It was nuts. We just absolutely demolished them. It was great. It was a fantastic experience. Yeah, we took 2 guitars, absolutely annihilated them. Very happy to say that, oh, man, fantastic show. CM saying, if you didn't, you missed out. It's a great show. Man, the reason why it was so great was because not only did we smash 2 guitars, but every time we have a show like that, it just goes to demonstrate that there's a lot of people in the community that watch my shows and my music and stuff like that, and they really do support it. I think I have one of the most generous and thoughtful communities that I've experienced. There's a lot of people out there that kind of just watch my show casually, which is great. Super fine. But we do get a lot of people that actually can keep the show going. Like, I don't take sponsorships right now. I don't have anybody that, sends me money besides the people that actually want to. You know what I mean? They're not getting anything out of it other than the satisfaction of watching the show and having a guitar smashed, which is why I continue to do stuff, which is why what I'm going to bring up. For example, all the mods. By tomorrow, we should be able to have those commands for the show so that you can change the background. So that'll be exciting. I should have another episode of the of this channel's kind of like opinions and things like that. So there'll be another video. So that'll be awesome. Hey, we got Phil. What's going on? Yeah. So basically, when you type this in, you'll be able to type this message in. It shouldn't work right now. Background change, BG change. And what'll happen is, you see all the ocean? We'll be able to change that to something else. So I think I'm going to set it to random at first. So it'll be like a nice little thing. So what we're going to do is I will let you guys do some things. Like, for example, everybody in the chat, can we get like like a like wave? Or can everybody in the chat say their favorite band? And then if you get enough people, you'd be like, everybody, if you guys say your favorite band name in the chat, we'll change the background to something funny. You know what I mean? We'll change it to a random background. And we'll do something like that. And then you guys will have more participation in the show. Oh, you were sick, dude? Oh, dude, that's the worst. Glad to see you back. Glad to see you back. Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was like, we haven't seen Phil for a while. But, oh, it'll be nice. So I have to get the backgrounds taken care of, but I do have the command set up. It's really annoying, dude, having to set this thing up to because you have to learn a little bit of, not that you have to learn a lot of code, but you do have to type stuff in. It's not like a UI where you click a button and be like, change background to this. You have to type a bunch of stuff. You have to find somebody else who already typed it. All that stuff. It's very annoying. So it's not a great experience. But as far as it being a useful tool for you guys, I think it'll be fun. So yeah, it'll be a great experience. Phil says, I was dying. Well, you're back now, buddy. But yeah, I'll show you guys an example. I'll see if I can pull up a video because there's a guy named Office Drummer. I always bring him up. Fantastic streamer. He has a thing that he does. Is he on a yacht? Dude, he just posted a video. Hold on. Wrong thing. So that was some advice I was giving earlier. He's on a yacht? What? Dude, living the life. Living the life, dude. Check that out. He's on a yacht. Office Drummer, what a G. Look at that! He's just drumming in somebody's boat. You got to get the purple lights. You got to get the purple lights, dude. If you're a Twitch streamer, you got to rep the purple. I'm not, so I represent something else. Let's see what we got here. Where's his video? He has a video where he does. Let me just go to his account. We got to find one because he has his old videos where he has like a button he presses and the background just changes. It's pretty sick. Who's this? Oh, he's got a DJ with him, dude. Check this out. Hold on. I'll move the camera a little bit. He's got a DJ. That's pretty sick. And so he's drumming along. So I guess he got rid of the green screens. No green screens, Office Drummer? Okay. I guess that's how it works. Yeah, he's been on a super streak. He's absolutely killing it. He's annihilating. Ever since he went on Kai Cenat's thing, it's been nuts. So, all right, hold on a second. We got to go back here. We're going to see about his old videos. I want to see where he's got his green screen stuff because it's fun. I really do like it. Man, he just posts. Look at how many videos he posts every day. Here we go. Let's pull this up. So this is what he does. So he's talking. See how he's got a normal background there? We'll skip ahead. And he's got on the right side is like other views. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, you see this one in the middle? He's got a green screen that switches. Oh, no, he definitely has a team. He definitely has people that help him out. I don't know if he did it this era. Or this was only 2 weeks ago? Okay. So what it is, here's what he does. It's a pretty great setup. So here's what he does. As far as I know, if you send him a donation, you can change the camera angle, which is pretty cool. But I think that's kind of limited to Twitch. And I can't do that. I also don't want to make people pay to change camera angles. I think that's weird. I like to have the camera angles changed to look something else. So, but let's see if we can get it to the moment he changes the camera angle, because it's really fun. There it is. So watch this. Somebody hits a button and they send him a donation, and then boom, it changes to this. That's what I want on my show. But I want it to be more community driven. Not like, I mean, obviously helping out the show money would be great, but I don't think it's enough. I'm too limited in what I can play. He's on like a spaceship there. Oh, he's in the Millennium Falcon. That's pretty cool. But yeah, the bottom line is I like the idea of it being like something the mods can do. Man, look at all the people sending him cool stuff. Oh, and this is funny. Check this out. It's a little bit of a behind the scenes thing. You could see he's got like a YouTube. He's just got a YouTube thing open. He's just watching YouTube videos while he's playing. Obviously, he's playing the song. That's the song he's playing. But that's pretty funny. And then you see off here, you can see his Twitch chat. So this is what he can see. So that's a pretty cool feature. He probably also has like a bunch of foot stuff, so they can like press a button, kind of like I do, because his hands are busy. And I know he has a keyboard up there somewhere too. So that's kind of how he works. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, that's what I want though. I want my mods on here. I want us to have a little bit of a fun thing that we can do. So at first it's going to be random until I get everything else, all the other commands. But we're going to have really fun stuff like that. So in the background, we could change it to something else at any given time. And then everybody can see it. They'll go, whoa, that's crazy. And then it'll go back to, the normal other camera angles, things like that. So that's the idea of the show. So if you're a mod, you'll be able to have that power. And then what's nice is you guys will be able to say stuff like, hey, man, if somebody wants to say like I said earlier, their favorite band name, I want to know if we get enough people, if we get 20 people to say something in the chat about their favorite band name, we'll change the background to something funny. And then we'll change it to something funny. So that'll be pretty cool. We could also do stuff like, if we get another donation or if we get another like this, it's whatever you guys want. So it doesn't have to be a donation, but it can be whatever you guys want. You could be like, hey, somebody tell a joke. That would be funny. Hey, man, if somebody tells a funny... And then, like, you have 30 people being like, knock, knock, who's there? It's just chaos in the chat. So that'll be great. Because as much as I love my background, it is getting kind of old. I think we all got to kind of do that. So, yeah, it's funny how that goes. See what I mean? There's a bunch of bots on here, dude. Bunch of bots. What is going on with that today? It's the most I've seen today. Yeah, I know. A lot of bots. This was happening yesterday, too. And they're bots because if you go to their channel, too, it's like, obviously, there's nothing of substance there. So, all right, we're gonna have to do some moderating right now. Hold on, let me go into here. Let's see here. Community moderation. We'll have to do that. Because here's the other thing, too. If you're religious, dude, don't worry about it. Glad you guys found something you like. But at the same time, it's like when you go to somebody's live channel, it's very rude to be like, hey, I'm going to talk about this in front of everybody. Because you got to respect everybody, especially me. It's not like if you have a religious channel, hey, that's cool, man. That's your thing. But don't go to other people's channels. Come on, man. So let's see here. What do we got here? Blocked words. Here we go. What was that message, actually? Hold on, let me go back to him. Yeah, we'll have to put that in there. Just because so many people do it. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Everybody has their different kind of belief system, man. So, I mean, ultimately, I think that most people are respectful of each other. But I will say this. If you're online and you're streaming, like I said earlier, you got to read the room. There's a time and a place. So it's obviously there's something going on there. And I would say it's more mischievous than you think. Because there's lots of people that care about other people. They want to try and help them out, give them salvation. But it's obviously, you don't want to, I remember one time, I'll tell you guys a story. This is really funny. I was at I used to do this thing in Washington D.C. It's called the Slug, and you guys have never heard of this. Yeah, so there was carpool. I would carpool to work when I used to have an office job, and what you would do is you'd go to a parking lot, you'd park there, and then people that are going to Washington D.C. or going to work, they would live like, I don't know, 5 miles, 10 miles, 15 miles away. So it's not that long, but here's the problem. Here's the problem. Hold on a second. So here's the problem. When you're like 15 miles away from Washington D.C., there's only like one major highway that really makes you want to get stuck in traffic. So when you're just trying to get to work, it doesn't take 15 minutes. It doesn't take 20 minutes. It takes like an hour and a half. So you can imagine if you have to be at work at like what, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9, you're going to have to get up so early just to be able to get on the road on time. So here's the joke. Here's the joke, man. When you're trying to get to work in D.C., you'd have to get carpooling because they have a high occupancy vehicle lane. So the carpool lane. So you'd get to work in half an hour. So it's perfect. So I remember being on that. I was on that, so I got in a stranger's car, which I did this for like a year and a half, 2 years. 3 years, actually. I think it was like 3 years. And it was fine. No big deal. No problems. Everybody was chill. Everybody was cool. But here's what happened. I got in the car once, and some guy was like driving. It was me and this lady. And we're just kind of in the back seat. And we're going to my work. And the guy goes, and again, this is a person I don't know. They're going to D.C. I'm going to a slightly different part of D.C., so they're just going to draw me off the main spot. So he just turns around. He's like driving on the highway, and he's like, hey, I don't know if you guys know this, but Kanye West just released a really good album. And I was like, okay. He just released the album Jesus is King, which was like his I'm not crazy anymore, guys. I'm just a Christian man, and I'm trying to spread the gospel. But he's still a crazy person, so I was like, uh-oh. And he goes, yeah, I really love this album. You guys listen to this album? Do you mind if I put it on? And I was like, I'm down to check it out, dude. And the lady next to me was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. You know, he pulls it, and he's singing the songs and stuff. And then like a minute or two into the song, he turns it down. He goes, yeah, Jesus Christ has really helped my life. Do you guys mind if I talk about it real quick? And I'm just like, oh, no. And I'm like, sure, dude, go for it. And I'm like, I'm stuck in this car, dude. You know I can't say no. If I say no, you're going to be like a jerk about it. You know what I mean? It's the implication. So anyways, I'm just like, dude, go for it, whatever. So we get in the car. We're still driving, and he's talking about how he cheated on his wife. And I was just like, what? And he's like, yeah, Jesus Christ has led me to believe that I'm a sinner, and, you know, I have to repent for my sins and blah, blah, blah. Well, what he's doing is called proselytizing. So he's trying to convert us into whatever his religion, whatever his sect of Christianity is. And so the bit is that he used Kanye West to get us comfortable, which was not really what, you know what I mean? That wasn't going to work because it's Kanye West. And this was after he was like coming out as a crazy person. So anyways, bottom line is that it was one of the most uncomfortable car rides because I just kept going, that's cool, man. Right on, dude. And I remember at one point I went, this album is sick. Because I was like, I don't want to talk to you, dude. Talk about it. And he goes, yeah, it is a sick album, isn't it? And then we got out of the car, and he's like, well, I thank you guys. I know I was kind of ranting at you. And I was like, yeah, I know. And then me and the lady get out, and we both look at each other like, God damn it. It was really funny. But yeah, that was like the last time in person I've had a person try to like convert me like that in a really bizarre and rude way. It's very, very not cool. Yeah, so proselytizing, excuse me. I said with a TH for some reason. But yeah, that's basically when you, wrong one. Anyways, bottom line, not a great experience. So, yeah, basically, that's cool. Leave me alone. Also, yeah, I don't know why Lewis was like, are you going to play the song I want to hear? Lewis, you can't. Come on, man. You can't do that. Come on, we're trying to have a conversation about stuff. Why are you talking about me playing you music? I don't know why you did that. Electric says, ever heard of a band called Pup? No, I have not. Sorry, dude. Yeah, I don't know why. He likes you can always tell when it's like a little kid, dude. And I always feel guilty about that. But I'm going to be real, dude. Anytime I see like little kids in the chat like that, I'm just like, where are your parents? Why are you in a chat room? You should not be in here. And you know what? To be honest, I think this is one of my biggest critiques of what's it called? Not just YouTube, but just like live streaming in general. There's just too many damn kids. There's too many kids. And I don't mean that in like a, kid, I don't like kids. No, kids, not a big deal. But the part that sucks is when there's kids in the live stream and they're just surrounded by hundreds or several dozen other people, just adults, and they're just acting like there's not kids in the room. That's why there's a whole bunch of like swear guards and stuff too on my show. I just don't understand why there's like not an age verification or anything like that. It just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure there is. I'm sure those kids are just lying about it. They're on their parents' account, which happens. But it's just like, come on, man. They shouldn't be on here. They shouldn't be in this situation. So, yeah, it's not a great experience. Well, you're going to have to tell somebody else the warning. Not sure why you're giving me a warning. That's really weird. But yeah, bottom line is, yeah, it's just like Lewis seemed like a nice kid, but he's on a chat room full with other people, and he doesn't understand how this stuff works. You know what I mean? It's just obviously it's not a great experience. No, it is. No, YouTube itself is recommended to a bunch of people, bunch of different age groups. Being on YouTube, just watching videos, not a big deal. Most people can tell. It'll say, hey, there's something graphic in here. People will be watching certain things. But when you go into a chat room, though, that's where it's like, okay, no, you can't do that. Because, again, you're talking to strangers. You're talking to weird people. Or potentially weird people is what I'm trying to say. So, I'm run the show for the obvious purpose of, like, ask me anything, talk about, guitar, music, streaming. If you want advice about something, that's what it's for. It's for, like, an answer questions, things like that. But, I mean, if you're a kid and you're going into chat rooms and stuff like that, you don't belong in there. You're not supposed to be in there. You should be hanging out with your friends. You should be you should be hanging out online with your friends. That's what you should be doing. You should be hanging out with a bunch of random people. Phil says, I was raised on RuneScape. I went through the worst at a young age. I mean, RuneScape, I'm going to be real with you, man. I tried to play RuneScape a couple times. I could not get into it. I hate to call it this, but it was very mindless. It was very just click and wait. Click and let it do the thing. It's not very engaging. For some people, I imagine that passiveness to it is the beneficial part. That's why I couldn't get into WoW either. Like World of Warcraft, it just felt very passive. I don't really like stuff that's passive. I like actively playing something like first-person shooters are great, but those can be kind of mindless, which is like where Counter-Strike comes in. Counter-Strike is you got to be communicating. You got to have a lot of map knowledge. You got to know game sense, things like that. You can't play that game passively, otherwise you're just going to be absolutely destroyed. But back to the whole chat room thing. When you're a streamer, you kind of have to pay attention to who's asking you questions, who's out there, and how they're asking you questions, so you can identify exactly what they're saying, what they're doing. So it's like you just don't want to let people let themselves be taken advantage of, if that makes sense. So, yeah. It sucks that it happens, but Zoe says, my parents didn't let me on the internet when I was a kid, and I'm very grateful for that. I mean, my parents, when I was a kid, the internet was still in its infancy. Like, I remember, this is not a joke, I remember when the pop-up window was first invented. I remember when that came out, dude. I remember when the pop-up window was just like, hey, guess what? Your computer is not going to be able to be running properly. I remember when, what was it called? There was like the I Love You virus. Hold on. Famous computer viruses. Let me look this up. What was it called? It was like the I Love You virus. Here we go. When did that come out? Yeah, May 4th, 2000. So the I love you virus was a computer worm that infected 10 million computers on Windows. And basically you'd get an email that says I love you with an attachment, and you'd open the attachment. I think our family computer got hit with that. And yeah, the computer got totaled or something like that. Like the hard drive got completely destroyed. So it's really weird. It's a really weird virus. But yeah, the idea is that a lot of people back in the infancy of the internet, like not only did we not know the dangers of the internet, most people didn't weaponize the internet, if that makes sense. So, for example, most of the bad things that happen now that are protected against not only did not have a fix for it, but it didn't even exist. Does that make sense? We were like in the Stone Age of the internet. We were in the very beginning. So there weren't any rifles, essentially. There weren't any like flamethrowers. There wasn't like weapons of mass destruction. There was just really annoying stuff. So back when the internet was first conceived, yes, there were problems. There were people abusing it still. But it wasn't like today. Today, there are people out there that are sending obviously like ways to get your credit card information and your social security number, all that stuff. There's ways for people to get that stuff. But back in the day, they would just straight up ask you, like, hey, can you give me this? So it was very primitive. The internet was very primitive. So I got to grow up with it. So I got to see how things changed over time. To go from like innocent, legitimately just text-based things and pictures loading like a bar at a time, very, very slow, to what is now. So I got to grow up with the internet. So that was really cool. But I will say this, a lot of people, I avoided most of the bad stuff somehow through luck. So I avoided most of that stuff. But I remember I was having a conversation with somebody about how they were like parenting and how they were like, I'm not going to let my kids on the internet. Not until they're like in their teenage years. And I was like, well, I don't think that's a good idea. I think you should let them be aware of the internet, but you can't let them just do stuff. You know what I mean? Like, let me give an example. When you're learning to drive a car, if somebody said to you, you're not allowed to drive out of the neighborhood, one, what's the use in that? Why would you need to drive in the neighborhood? You might as well just not even drive, which is why a lot of kids today don't have driver's licenses because they don't have anywhere to go. There's nowhere for them to go. They all just stay online all the time. But anyways, so if you have somebody who's trying to learn how to drive, how are they going to be able to drive defensively? How are they going to drive on the highway? How are they going to be able to spot a drunk driver? How are they going to be able to spot somebody who's driving recklessly? What are they supposed to do? What happens if there's a fog and they can't see where to drive? How are they supposed to be able to tell weather conditions? You know what I mean? How are they going to be safe in those situations that don't happen in a neighborhood? So I'm not saying let them drive in the fog on an icy day with a drunk driver. But what I am saying is you got to have to drive with them. Go on the highway. Like if I was, this is how I feel. If I was raising a kid today, let's say I had a 8-year-old, 9-year-old, and they said, Dad, can I go on Roblox? I'd be like, no, you're not going on Roblox. But I'll tell you why. And so I would get a Roblox account with my kid. We would go on Roblox, and I'd be like, see this person? This person's bad. You don't want to talk to them. See this person? This person's annoying. You don't want to talk to them. See this person? This is why you don't have a Roblox account, because you can't tell who's a bad person and who's not. So if you can't discern who you're talking to and why, you shouldn't be on here. Same thing with YouTube. I'd be like, you can't go into chat rooms. You know why? Because you don't know how to tell good from bad. So that's why it'd be like, you can't go on there. But I'll tell you this. We're going to look at it together. And then maybe when you're older, maybe you'll be able to check that stuff out. I'll be able to trust you with going to be able to talk to people because you'll know who's good, who's bad, who's taking advantage of, who's not. That's the goal. So to that person I was talking to online, I told them that they were kind of setting their kid up for failure. So they wanted to have them really be comfortable with it. Because if you're not aware of how to deal with these situations, why let them do it? Like, who cares if they're 20 years old? If they've never driven on the highway, they're not going to do a good job. Doesn't matter. So same thing with being a kid on the internet. You can't just be a kid on the internet running around with like no adult supervision. Like, for example, Lewis. There was somebody in the chat just a moment ago. They weren't doing anything bad necessarily, but they clearly weren't really understanding how to talk to people in this environment. When somebody has a thing that says no requests, like I've said it multiple times, we don't play music on this show because I get in trouble. And they say, when are you going to play a song tonight? Are you going to play this song tonight? It's like, not for you. One, you're not sending donations. Two, you're old enough to do that. And three, this is the wrong place to ask. So it's really weird how that works. So 6 foot, hold on, we'll change subject. 6 foot says, need help picking new strings, Pat. What brand should I get for my acoustic? Ooh, it depends. Let me ask you some questions. You got sweaty hands? You got acid sweat? You sweating all over your strings? What do your strings look like right now? Are they gunky? Are they nasty? Are they clean? They're just old? Are they just worn up? 6 foot just says, yes. So you do have sweaty hands. Okay, so you're basically pretty much only going to be getting coated strings from now on. And the reason for that is when you have sweat in your hands, it gets on the strings. Your sweat is corrosive. It'll make the strings get gunky and like a rust on them. So if you do not get treated strings, the bare metal will just erode. And they'll be awful to play. They'll sound bad. And they'll be very unpleasant to play. So you got a couple options. I'll show you some string options here, buddy. So you said acoustic, right? Do you know what string gauges are on them already? Coated, 10-4? You got it. So there's a couple different brands you could do. Let me pull this up. Let me just hide this. We got Office Drummer on there. We're going to pull up coated strings guitar acoustic. So I'm going to make this a little smaller for us so we can see it. There we go. All right, so let's go to, what do you got? You got Amazon? You got a Guitar Center near you? What do you got? What do you got near you? We'll look and see what they got. No idea what kind? Okay, here's a question. Is the G string wound on your acoustic? Which means, is it like spiraled around it? You got Amazon? Okay, we'll go to Amazon. It's not a big deal to buy stuff on Amazon, you guys. If you're buying strings and stuff like that, you don't have to go to a local shop. It's not a big deal. Let's see here. We got coated. Yeah, there's different levels of coating. So, but yeah, is it a wound G string or is it just bare metal? You'll know by like the big E string is wound. So if the G string is wound, it's probably 12s and up. I think 12s, maybe 11s, if depending on what it is. Yeah, you let me know if the G string on it is wound. So we'll see. But I think the SXS Diodario. Yeah, these are 12 to 53. It's a pretty standard set. I can't remember if the XS or the XL. I'm going to say the XS has the winding or the coating on the inside. It's spiraled. Okay, so you probably have a set of 12s on there. Is it really hard to bend the strings? You want something a little easier to play? Usually you should stick to the gauge you got. And the reason you stick to the gauge you got is because the neck, here, I'll go back to the main thing. The neck on your guitar is set to a specific tension. There's a metal rod going through the neck called a truss rod, Truss, truss. And so that is like a balancing act. So the bottom line to it is that if you put something lighter on your strings, on your guitar, the neck on your guitar is going to have less tension going that way. So it's going to start back bowing. It'll start doing this, which you don't want. But if you go something heavier, it'll start bending that way because there's more tension pulling on the strings. So it's going that way. So you want to have the same string gauge. What you can do is you got a garage, you got a dad at home that's got a toolbox. You got a toolbox. If you got one of these, you can actually tell these what are these like? Oh my God, I can't remember what this is called. But calipers. You can actually just tell what string gauge you are just by going to the last string and just pushing it down. So these are 0.9, 0.09. And so these are 9s on my acoustic, but Yeah, if you don't have a string gauge caliper like measurement thing, that's no big deal. You can just guess. But anyways, bottom line is, yeah, you got to get the same string gauge. So if it's a wound G, it's probably 12s or 11s. It's not going to be a huge difference, but it will affect it slightly. I'm gonna say go with 12s. Go with 12s on your acoustic. You have one of those? Does it have the little measurement thing? If you got one of those, go check it. The last string. Pinch it as hard as you can, because you're replacing the strings anyways, and then see what it stops at. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, check the last string. It'll tell you what it is. So it'll either be 12, 11, 10. It's probably going to be 11 or 12. If you're unlucky, it's 13s. You're screwed if it's 13s, because those are hard to play. But anyways, so here we go. We have the little thing mentioning on it. So it says right here, the D'Addario XS Maximum Life. It is the full film coating. So if you look, there's like a little red thing on the side. Hold on, here, I'll get this zoomed in a little bit more. See how it's got the coating right there on the outside? So that means the strings last a lot longer, and they're usually smoother feeling. So pretty crazy how that works. Oh, did I not save that? Hold on. Yeah, we got a lot of bots today. A lot of bots today. I think we're getting targeted. That's what we're doing. Hold on. Community moderation. We'll go back. We'll do it again. Oh, I'm on the wrong account. That's why. Switch account. I hate how YouTube does that. It's like, oh, you're on this account. I'll pull it up on this. It's like, no, I'm streaming from this account. So we'll wait. We'll wait for 6 to get back here. Still, we've only been streaming for like an hour, though. So that's quite a few. Community moderation. There we go. We got it. We're never going to see him ever again. Battery's dead? It's okay, dude. You can figure it out. But yeah, it's either 12s or anything. But I'll show you which strings to get for you. Okay, so we shouldn't see them anymore. Oh, I'll put gospel in there too. Cool. So we shouldn't see any more of those bots. Sorry about that, you guys. I thought I fixed it earlier. Okay, but anyways, so D'Addario has 2 different types of their coated strings. And I think they're pretty nice. I like them. But yeah, if you look at the top one, the XS, the white packs, they are the longest life. That's what you want. You want the fully coated. Fully coated. So it'll be a lot smoother to feel. They're a little harder to bend. I've noticed that they feel a little thicker because they technically are. We're talking like a couple nanometers. You know what I mean? They're not, but they last a lot longer. So, for example, they're $20 strings, which is about double. That's about double what you're actually using. However, they last like 3 months, 6 months for people who have sweaty hands. So you're probably looking to get a set of XSs. There's another brand you can get that I like. I used to use these exclusively for a long time. I used to use Elixir because the guy who's selling them to me was kind of a jackass. Sorry for swearing. But, yeah, he sucked. And what he did was he just said, here's the most expensive strings we have. So not a great look. But, they're not as expensive. So there's the NanoWeb, and then there's the PolyWeb. The NanoWeb, I think, is the lighter coating. Either way, you're okay. I think you could use NanoWeb. It's about the same price, about the same gauge. Again, these are like really smooth feeling. If you have sweaty hands, they're going to last a lot longer. I would say, I think I might go with the D'Addario. But that being said, you might want to just pick up like 2 or 3 packs. I know it'll cost you like $60, but again, they'll last for a long time. You'll see which ones you like. So Elixir, you can pick up a pack of Elixirs for $20. See if you like those. The XSs, the white pack. You want the white packs. You can pick those up, again, $20. There's also something called Phosphor Bronze versus 80/20 Bronze. Phosphor Bronze have like an orange color. I like them better than 80/20 because I just feel like it matches my voice better. But it's not a big deal. But, yeah, if you look at the 80/20 Bronze, it says right here 80/20. Those are traditional kind of looking strings. They're like a yellow They're more of a gold color. So 80/20s are kind of a little bit brighter sounding. And what's funny is, no, dude, this is the stream. 6 foot. You're not hijacking anything, dude. This is the stream. If you have questions about guitar, music, or streaming, you ask me, I will answer it for you. Yeah, so if you're getting strings and you have sweaty hands and you want to make sure your strings do not need to be changed every week or let them get rusty or something, you want to get either D'Addario, XS's, or you get Elixirs. You can get the NanoWeb or the Polyweb. The Polywebs, I think, are a little more expensive because they use more of the coating, and they last a little bit longer. Or are they a little bit cheaper? Oh, wait, hold on. I couldn't remember. Are these just cheaper at this place, though? I don't remember. Here we go. Oh, these are electric strings. That's why. Duh. They got new packaging from last time I bought some. So, yeah, the blues are electric. It says right there in the top left-hand corner. Duh. I was like, why are these cheaper? What's going on here, dude? But yeah, usually on the pack it'll say, see, this says 80/20. Right down here, 80/20 bronze. Polyweb. So, these are like a little dollar less. So it looks like the Polywebs are a little less. I can't remember. What's the difference between Polyweb versus NanoWeb? Hold on, let me look this up. I used to know this, but I can't remember. I haven't bought them in so long. They also have OptiWeb. Okay, Nano, I thought so. Nano is thinner. Okay, I was right. So the Nano is thinner. The Polyweb is thicker. So if you want it to feel softer, you would get the Polyweb. NanoWeb is the thinner one, which makes it feel more like a traditional string, even though it's softer. I don't know. Try them all. Try all three, dude. Get a set of Polyweb, 12s, Elixir. Get a set of NanoWeb, Elixir. You can try 80/20 or phosphor bronze. What color are your guitar strings now? They're probably green because of your sweaty, nasty, sweaty hands. But yeah, pick one of them up, then restring it. I'll tell you what, though. Like I said, the coated strings are going to feel thicker just because they actually are. They literally are. The gold, I just got it today. Oh, what string did you get? You got a guitar today? Oh, man. Man, you got sweaty hands? Yeah, you'll see what I mean. I'll show you guys what nasty guitar strings look like. I'm lucky. I got so lucky. Guitar strings. Rusty. Pull them up. We're going to get some, gross. Oh, here we go. That's what, None of my strings look like that. Thank God. Look at that. If you want to see something really funny for those of you who are guitar players at home, if you want to see what the strings used to look like before what they look like now, a lot of times you can just go get your guitar. Look at the strings right here. Here, I'll change the camera. Get your guitar. Look at the strings here, right? After the guitar nut. And then look at the strings up here because you've never touched them. So this is what brand new strings look like. And then this is what they look like after. So on my guitar, they look almost identical just because, again, my hands don't sweat. But if you want to see if your hands are getting nasty, if your strings are getting nasty, just look from here to here. That's it. You can see the color change. It's pretty gross, man, but mine look fabulous. So there you go. There's a little bit of a how to buy some strings. So if you want to get some strings and your hands get all sweaty and nasty, go look for coated strings. They're going to be more expensive, but they last way longer, so it justifies the price. There's a Elixir, NanoWeb, that's the thinner coating. That feels a little more like a string. Polyweb, that's the thicker coating. It's going to feel a little bit softer and pillowy. And then you have the D'Addario XS's, which is where they put the coating all over, whereas they have the XL, all right, the other with the black box, which is where it doesn't last. I'm sorry, XT. Then they have the XT, which is in the black box, versus the XS white box. So if you get the XS, Those last a lot longer because they fully coat the strings. The XT, they have the coating on the inside, which is very interesting. They're just extended life. So it's very cool. So you got a bunch of different options. I know Ernie Ball has the Everlast and DR has the Dragon Skin. Never had any experience with those, but I'm sure they're just as good. I know Ernie Ball tends to be a little more inexpensive. So you got options. So just you got to experiment with what you like. Everybody always says, oh, I always use these. Doesn't matter what I use. Figure out what you like. So that's what you got to do. So I hope that helps. Because I put Ernie Ball on everything. Because it's cheap, reliable, and I know exactly how it feels. So I like that. Zoe says, do coated strings sound different from uncoated? Not really. Not really. They feel different by a lot, though. Your fingers are extraordinarily sensitive. Like, I can't remember what the exact statistic was, but like, let's say your finger was like the size of the earth and you were going to touch the earth and like feel it, you could tell the difference between houses and cars just by touching it. Isn't that amazing? Like your hands are very sensitive. So when you get strings, just by changing the material that they use, like I remember when, this is really funny. I remember when the Cobalt strings, were they Cobalt? Yeah, I remember when these strings came out. I remember trying these. This is the Ernie Ball Cobalts. They're supposed to be higher output because they react to magnets more. And objectively, that is true. It is true. They have a higher output, so they get a little more distorted. They're a little more powerful. Here's the problem. They feel different. They're not as smooth of a feeling of metal. So I don't know if they fixed that or not, but I remember playing it, and you could feel almost like a squeak, more so than the nickel or the I almost said nipple. The nickel alloys or whatever they're using. I don't know what they're using. I know they have steel and stuff like that. But yeah, using the nickel versus the cobalt, I went back to nickel. Even though objectively speaking, the cobalt sounded more like distorted and has a better like frequency response. It was better sounding to my ears. I went back to the Ernie Ball regular nickel ones because it just felt better. So you're going to go with what you feel is better, in my opinion. If you're going for straight tone and how it sounds, I think you can do a much better job playing the song better. Here's my opinion. Whenever people talk about gear and like, oh, you got to get this, you got to do that in order to get the best sound, the best tone, you got to get a long neck tenon and the Gibson with the big neck, big tone. You got to have size 13 strings, blah, blah, blah. In my opinion, when you have a guitar that plays well, everyone's going to ask you what you're using because they like how you're playing, not because the guitar sounds good. There have been very few situations where I listen to a song and I go, that guitar sounds amazing. It's usually, I really love that song. You know, of course, there's a little bit of give and take. I always talk about this. You know, it doesn't mean everything's going to sound good. You know, you can't plug 4 metal zones into a PA speaker and have it sound good probably. But if the song's good, the song's good. So people like the writing. It's how it makes sense. So when people used to say like, oh, you know, Smells Like Teen Spirit, the guitar on that song sounds so good. I think it does sound good. But at the same time, if the song wasn't as good, I don't think people would have cared as much. People say this all the time about all the great musicians. You got Eddie Van Halen. You know, people used to wonder how he got his sound of his guitar all the time. Eddie Van Halen used to talk about how he doesn't use guitar pedals. He was like anti-guitar pedal for his distortion. So he'd only use the amp's distortion. And then Billy Corgan, this is the story. Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins met Eddie. And they're hanging out. And he's like, can I play your guitar, Eddie Van Halen? He's like, yeah, dude, come here. And he's like, where's your distortion pedal? And he's like, I don't have one. I just use my amp. He's like, what? And then what's funny is that Billy Corgan used to use like the Big Muff pedal, the fuzz, known for being a fuzz guy. Lots of different fuzzes. But here's the funny part. We both like both songs, both artists, even though they have totally different methodologies for getting a specific sound, right? So it's like, it doesn't ultimately matter as long as it sounds good. So, but yeah, short answer to that is yes, they do sound different, maybe by a little bit, but it feels far more different, and I think that is the part that actually matters more. So, you saw that interview, Carlos? Yo, my man. Psh, love it. It's fascinating how that works, dude. It's absolutely fascinating how somebody can just sit down and use the same equipment and get a completely different thing. So, completely different thing. Mark says, love the channel. What do you think about George Lynch from Dokken? I actually haven't listened to a lot of stuff from the 80s, if you can believe that. Like, I just listened to the Scorpions the other day. I just checked them out, like, in a serious manner. Like, I sat down and checked out a couple records. So I was going to say, that's a band I've never really listened to. I've heard of George Lynch. I've seen his guitar. He has like the really cool, what was it? He has like an LTD or something, right? What's his thing? Jackson? I don't know what he has. He has like some, because like in the 80s, he has the LTD. He has this cool guitar. Yeah, he has the sick kind of like, it's almost like a zebra print or not leopard print, but zebra print, like a tiger stripe thing. But then you can just see the evolution of it, just changing into camouflage and things like that. So, love the guitars he's had. Never listened to a single thing from him, dude. Can you believe that? Just goes to show, like, you can see somebody's effect on the market. Like, absolutely. You could absolutely see somebody's effect. Never truly give him a chance. Never really check him out. So I'll have to check him out, dude. I'll have to listen to him right after this. I can't do it on the show just because of the copyright and stuff. But I have heard of George Lynch. I've seen his equipment. Seems like a cool dude, but I've never really listened to his stuff. So, but yeah, famous guitar players are famous for a reason. So it's probably going to be good. But yeah, look at those things. I think my favorite one is the, what do they call it? The Kamikaze. This thing's sick. Look at that thing. That thing's amazing. I love the little photograph on the corner right there. You got the photo here. And then you have the cool kind of camouflage thing going on. You got the little bombs. So cool. Very, very, very interesting looking. But I don't know if $6,000 makes sense to me. But it's pretty cool. Mr. Scary. I'll check it out. Yeah, Rage Against the Machine. Oh, yeah, I bet you I know it was like a Kramer or a Jackson. What's the Arm the Homeless? What is I think it's a parts caster he built. Is it a Jackson? Or is it a Gibson-style headstock? This is a very famous guitar, Arm the Homeless. When I was a kid, I used to think it said Arm of the Homeless, like he was speaking for the homeless. But no, it's a commentary about how the military kind of targets like people down on their luck for recruiting, which is, hey, that's a whole different topic. But very cool guitar. But if you look at the headstock, that's like a Explorer. If you ever seen a Gibson Explorer headstock, it's got the hockey puck kind of thing going on. Very cool guitar. I'm guessing it was very Eddie Van Halen inspired. Because if you look at here's a fake. There's a fake guitar right here. That's funny. For $860. Counterfeits. Pretty brutal. But yeah, let me look at that headstock. What's the story behind this guitar? We'll see if we can find something for us to read. Because I don't know. I'll check it out. Let's see here. So here we go. Guitar.com. Guitar.com. Let me just zoom in really bad so I can't read it for you guys. So we'll check this out. Custom made. Yep, I thought it was a parts caster. Now broken down and rebuilt beyond recognition. What? Signature instrument. Yeah, he used this for a ton of stuff. So what do we got here? So he built it in, let's see, where did he build it? Look up neck. The original neck boasted a beefier truss rod. Oh, it looks like it's had 3 or 4 different necks. The only original part of the body, or the original guitar, is the body. That's pretty interesting. Makes sense for a parts caster, just keep getting different stuff. So it's supposed to have like a Fender-style C-shaped neck, I guess. I don't know. Looks like a Gibson, though. So I'm guessing it has like a 12-inch radius, and I don't know. The neck is, oh, here we go. The neck is a graphite knockoff Kramer neck. What'd I say? It said Kramer uses them. Oh! And it's got a Floyd Rose on it. That's important to know. Very interesting. Yeah, usually parts casters are kind of goofballs. But I like how it has the... I thought those were clouds. I didn't know they were like hippos. Dude, that's so funny. I thought they were clouds this entire time. Look at them. Up close. The little hippo guys. Hippos on parade. I love it. That is so cool. I had no idea that was what it... Yeah, because if you look at it from afar, I thought they were just clouds. So we'll back off. We'll go back to the images. Yeah, did anyone think they were clouds? I thought they were clouds. Yeah, because if you look at it from far away, it's like, oh, yeah, that's what they are. I guess you could tell now. But when he's playing it, you can't really... They just look like clouds. Yeah, the bridge is Floyd Rose. He's also known for leaving his strings clipped on there, which I'm going to tell you right now, insane. Absolutely insane thing to put on there. So, because you poke somebody's eye with those, dude. That sucks. But, it's Tom Morello. He's very punk rock. Well, I'll tell you guys, we got a little bit of time left on the show. In about 5 minutes, I'm going to get off. So anybody got any questions, anything they want to talk about specifically? Because I got to make sure I get a snack before we do the actual main show, playing music. So, and then we'll see what's going on. Yeah, that's the hippo stickers. What are those from? What are the hippo stickers from? Oh, they sell the stickers now. That's funny. What are they originally from? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm out of things to talk about. So if there's no questions for me, if you guys enjoyed the show, I think I'm going to get off here. I'm going to take a break for a minute, and then we're going to go on to the main show. So we'll be on the mainstream. So thank you guys so much for being here. Hope I answered some questions for you. I hope we touched on some topics that you wanted to see me talk about. So I'll be back on the main show in about half an hour, 25 minutes, something like that. So, all right, if you haven't followed me, make sure you follow, subscribe, do all that stuff. No requests on this show. Sorry, dude. Not sure why you'd ask that. Anyways, we'll be on the main show. We're going to play some music on there, but I'll check it out later. Thank you so much. Good night.